Good morning, everyone. We're going to be starting in about 5 minutes, so please take your seats, silence cell phones, and there is an overflow room next door if there's no seats available. Thank you. I will just add when I announce the party, I'll ask them to come up on stage at that point. Okay. They'll get cute. I'll cue them. Are they going to stay there? Time one, two.
Works to be on the stage, but it's not enough space in the front. And the photography guy is like, hey, that's too constricted. So we'll push after the session, just kind of push things back.
So I'll have them come up here.
Yeah. Oh, no. Nobody come that
Come
way.
on that side?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so that's where I think it'll be good for you to get Jessica on the.
So they'll come up here and then go out that way.
Yeah, I think that'll be good to be able to do it that way. Photography, come in, photo, the only questions I have is
They wanted to come initially to down center, but
well,
obviously there's not a lot.
there's not a lot of space. So, okay, so. Yeah.
Just in case you get nervous, I'm one in the back.
All right. Hopefully not.
So, Ed,
I'm on and off.
yeah, I guess told him to deal with it. All right, yeah. So we'll just go with Jessica.
Okay. But what you want?
Semper Gumby.
Bring it in the middle?
Huh? No, so it's gonna still be on. No.
Okay.
So Jessica, I think is gonna
Come over here.
come up and give the award. And then we do it that way. And then we're gonna move these chairs back and then have the photographer.
I'll still have them come down the middle.
Yeah, whatever. All right, do Semper Gumby.
All right. Good morning, everyone. If I could ask you to please take your seats, we're about to begin. And for the folks that are still coming in, there is an overflow room just next door if there are no more seats, but there's still a few here on the middle section. All right, at this moment, if you could please silence all cell phones as I announce the official party. And when I call your name, please come to the stage when I call you. Today's official party consists of Dawn Chief Information Officer, Ms. Jane Rathbun, Vice Admiral Thomas, Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Information Warfare, N2 N6, Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, Director of Naval Intelligence, and Lieutenant General Carter, Deputy Commandant for Information, Headquarters of the U.S. Marine Corps, and Commander, United States Forces Cyberspace Command.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Very cozy setting. I hope you guys are all wearing deodorant, have showered, etc., so that we're not, annoying our neighbors. But I really want to thank everyone for making your way out here. It is a crazy time, very crazy time. And so thank you to the leadership for getting here. First of all, I would like to recognize our distinguished visitors today. We have Ms. Leslie Beavers, the Department of Defense CIO, that we'll be talking to in a few minutes. We have Admiral Thomas, head of N2 N6 and OpNav, and then Lieutenant General Carter, who is the Director for DC, Deputy Commandant, I'm sorry, I was going to get that wrong, for information. And so welcome. This is your first time at an IT West or East event. They're both new, relatively new to their jobs, actually, and we're really thrilled to have you, and can't wait to hear from you. I want to welcome everyone and thank you all. It can't be emphasized enough that the importance of our leadership that understands this critical portfolio. This is a game-changing portfolio. It's going to take a long time to build ships and other weapon systems, but we can move fast in this portfolio. And having good leadership that understands that and helps us get there is critical. I also want to thank our capability deliverers, our PEOs and acquisition teams, our operators, our industry partners, my CIO team. Without you, none of this would be happening. So I appreciate that, and thank you again. And then specifically, I'd like to thank Ciro Lopez, Ed and Jessica for basically doing all the hard work. These things don't happen without a whole lot of logistics, management, planning, and they've been at it for quite some time. And based on the number of people in the room, and I understand there's an overflow room, I'm going to assume that they did a really good job getting the word out. So, okay, so today we are going to spend most of our day talking about the ISV 2.0. We launched it this summer officially. It was, I think, issued and signed by the Secretary in August. It is our overarching strategy, and today the teams are going to really spend time talking about the roadmaps and North Stars and roadmaps associated with that strategy. Before we get started, though, I just wanted to highlight and celebrate things that we have accomplished this past year. We're still reaping the benefits of Flank Speed, and this year is going to be a big year for what we'll call Flank Speed Nautilus, the next evolution, Flank Speed and Hyperion, I should say. We are leading the way on zero trust platforms and really modern delivery of key capabilities for the enterprise as well as the tactical edge. We have experimented with those capabilities at the tactical edge using HCI stacks and see great benefit and great opportunity with that. We've improved customer satisfaction, cybersecurity, operational resilience, and decreasing user time loss and cost per user by moving more than 800,000 users to cloud-based Office 365. We have been recognized by the DoD as having met 151 of the 152 Zero Trust activities for flank speed. So kudos to the team who made that happen. We have improved the management of cybersecurity and the user experience by delivering over 98,000 cloud-managed Nautilus endpoints and the run-on state-of-the-shelf commercial hardware and processes that are commercial processes. We increase the speed to capability, maximize resources, and reduce risk by designating 3 IT solutions for enterprise use. We won in the resourcing game and got some resources thanks to OpNav and my resource team, resources for critical capabilities that will really improve connectivity across the world. We hosted our first transport summit. Critical. Now, why that's critical is it was an opportunity to get the Navy Marine Corps and the Secretariat aligned in this space of how we want to deliver key transport capabilities going forward. Our focus is all on the warfight. Enterprise IT really isn't enterprise IT versus tactical anymore. It is a continuum. And the purpose of that transport summit was to make that clear that we need to be working together and moving in the same direction. We piloted solutions and processes for the Don's new approach to cybersecurity, cyber ready is what we like to call it, that will move the Don from ineffective compliance-based model to readiness-based framework. We expanded the use of the Don's Naval Enterprise Data and Analytics Environment, Jupiter, by increasing the number of users, tools, data sources, automated data connections, and use cases. We increased the number of services from 2 to 5, I think, this year. Hard work to get enterprise services deployed. So thanks to that team. So now you're asking yourself, wow, we've done a lot. Are we done? Heck no. There is so much more we can do in this space. As we talked about in our ISV 2.0, we have learned a lot. We have reaped from that learning, but we recognize that we need to really change processes and change our approach to how we engage with industry because it's no longer I'm going to build a requirement, I'm going to resource that requirement, and then I'm going to deliver that requirement. I got to have the requirements owners, the resourcers, the operators, the industry folks, and the acquisition folks all in the same car, moving in the same direction and taking direction simultaneously together. We've learned that lesson hard, and we see that it is the way to move forward, it's the way to operate going forward. So we're going to, in 2.0, live with the lessons learned, but what didn't change from 1.0 to 2.0 is our key objective, and that is to securely move data from anywhere to anywhere to gain decision advantage for the warfighter. So today we are going to, I'm going to pivot now and quickly ask Admiral Thomas to come up and give some remarks and General Carter to give some remarks, and then we'll go right into our conversation with Leslie Beavers, the DoD CIO. And so again, thank you everyone for all of the hard work that's happened and for the hard work that's coming our way.
Well, good morning. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity here to assist in opening up the Don IT West Symposium. I was at FCA last year. I was just getting ready to wrap up leaving Japan to head back this direction. So I missed last year's. I was there 2 years ago as 7th Fleet. But a really important conference, and then this summit to pull all the professionals together to be able to harmonize our thinking and to talk about what I really do consider to be the high leverage warfare area that we can move with speed and with agility. I first off want to thank Jane and her Don CIO team. They've made considerable progress under her leadership and vision. I'd also like to thank Jerry for his partnership. He and I are relatively new, although we're getting to the point where we can't say that anymore. But we've come into the building together and in some interesting times, but we have a locked-on, similar viewpoint of what matters for the warfighter and how we need to move quickly in this pacing challenge that we're facing. I really do think that the data and the information network. You know, I do have actually a degree from many years ago in what we called management systems back then, think OR, and then I went back to Navy postgraduate school. Ann Rindeau was out here somewhere, and got an information technology master's. And unlike all my other folks in Navy postgraduate school that went off and became information warriors, there were only 2 of us 16 that stayed in the operations business. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, I guess they're never going to get that payback tour out of me. But they waited for my final tours in 2 and 6 to get that payback. And it's been an education beyond, especially since the stuff I learned at postgraduate school was in the 90s. But things have changed just a little bit. But CNO, I'm going to focus a little bit on CNO and her NAV plan. She really details the ecosystem and the importance of the information environment and information movement, information security, and the connected system of systems to the future fight. And that word ecosystem, when she was giving us all opportunities to review her NAV plan, I was reading the NAV plan draft, and I saw the word ecosystem kind of just over and over, and I actually challenged the CNO a little bit on it, and she schooled me in return about the importance of the ecosystem and how systems of systems and how being in the ecosystem, whether it's a joint warfighting ecosystem or an allied and partner ecosystem or an information ecosystem, it really is what sets our warfighting capability above the remainder of those out there. And it really is important for long-range fires, for multi-domain targeting, precision warfare, the global sea control that our naval forces enact, and certainly for maneuver in what's becoming a more increasingly difficult environment to maneuver within. And all of it rolls together in information decision advantage, and it's at the center of what she describes as her joint warfighting ecosystem. And I know you're going to spend a significant amount of time over the next few days discussing in detail version 2.0 of the Information Superiority Vision. And let me state emphatically that out of the gate, from the Navy Service CIO perspective, we're fully aligned and supportive of ISV 2.0 and its objectives to modernize, to innovate, and to defend our networks and our broader Navy information warfare capabilities. As the Navy's resource sponsor, the N2 and 6 team has matured the vision into executable requirements, partnering in our resourcing and execution between OPNAV and the Marine Corps, the DON CIO, and our Navy PEOs to deliver a state-of-the-art, zero-trust compliant enterprise network for our Navy community. And we should be pretty proud of the work that we did in INGEN and where we sit compared to our sister services. It really is a model and a blueprint for where we need to go across the remainder of our multi-classified systems. N2 and 6 remains dedicated to the defense of our networks, investing in defensive cybersecurity operations, network defensive capabilities, and most importantly, the talents of our workforce as we align to the DoD cybersecurity workforce framework. In fact, ISV 2.0's key pillars of optimization, security, and decision are reflected in 2 documents that are driving many of our efforts: our Navy Blueprint for a modern enterprise information ecosystem, and our Chief of Naval Operations Navigation Plan for America's Warfighting Navy that I was speaking of earlier. This afternoon, Nathan Hagan will lead a session on the Navy Blueprint, so I won't go too deep on it, and I just signed out our version 2.0, which reflects our progress in measuring the baseline of our Navy network performance and identifies those key next steps in optimizing the network of the future. Alignment of ISV 2.0 and the Navy Blueprint 2.0 with Admiral Franchetti's navigation plan for America's warfighting Navy is critical. The NAV plan is driving where the United States Navy is going, and it's moving the Navy with urgency. And it's a very strategic central document that every one of my peers, every one of my DCNOs, we've embraced it. All the fleet commanders, 3-star, 4-star fleet commanders have embraced it. And we all believe it. That's the reality of it. It has enough continuity to what we were doing in our prior NAV plan implementation frameworks that we don't pivot and change course. And then it has some refinements, her Project 33 refinements, that she brings to the document to really highlight what she considers to be central areas that we need to focus on if we're going to be ready by 2027. And driving that sense of urgency is really the fact that the People's Republic of China is committed to being ready to successfully invade Taiwan in 2027, and they expect to be a world-class Navy by halfway through the century. CNO doesn't think that a conflict with the People's Republic of China is imminent or inevitable, but wants us to be more ready than they are, so we can continue to deter China while also enhancing our Navy's long-term advantage. The warfighting advantage doesn't just mean adding more ships or planes or submarines. And as Jane mentioned, it means delivering and maintaining resilient networks and systems that we'll need for command and control, to communicate, to provide logistic support, and to conduct long-range fires. Like the CNO mentions in our NAV plan, we have to think about our networks as the foundation of our warfighting ecosystem. They are the connective tissue that allows the service to fight as a joint and a combined force. If I could leave you with just one or two thoughts today, it would be to encourage you to think differently about who you are and about what you're doing for the Navy and the Marine Corps team, and to adopt a sense of urgency in all that you are doing. The clock is truly ticking. All of us here in the room need to think of ourselves as being warfighters, not just behind-the-scene warfighters, because the work that you're doing is critical to our warfighters having the decision advantage and the trust and the accuracy of those decisions to fight and win if called upon. Everything you do to build or enhance our networks and the information systems we deliver to the department ultimately contributes to the fight. If you look at the numbers now, the PRC has more ships and more planes than we do. We can't match their build rate, given their massive industrial base. But our asymmetric advantage is in our people, in our mission command, and in the confidence that we exude, and the information warfighting capabilities that we can bring to the fight. Capabilities that enable us to collect and analyze data, turn that data into knowledge, pass that knowledge on to our battle space commanders so that they can provide commanders' intent and orders to the forces that they command. Any potential conflict in 2027 or beyond can either be deterred or won by the actions or inactions of all of us here today. If you think of yourselves as warriors preparing to deter or fight and win, and adopt the sense of urgency that we must have, then we can walk from here with a renewed sense of purpose and energy. I encourage you to apply that mindset to how you think and talk about the issues that are going to be covered throughout this summit. Engage, question, and then let's go out and solve. And then take that renewed sense of purpose back to our teammates that are back from where we came. We need all of you to be on top of your game, and I thank you for the hard work that went into leading up to this summit, and I thank you even more for the hard work that you'll do over the next couple days in preparing our warfighters for the fight of the future. So thank you for having us.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and I want to thank my colleagues for some very eye-opening and very good remarks. Ms. Rathman, thanks for your leadership over the many years. It's an honor to share the podium with you, and thank you for your vision, your guidance, your advice and counsel as I get settled into the seat. And JT, you've been a phenomenal teammate. As you said, you and I came into the seat just about the same time. I think you have a little bit of a head start on me, but without a doubt, you reached out to me and pulled me into the formation. I want to thank you for that. Ms. Beavers, thanks. It's great to see you again. In my former capacity at NSA and now in my capacity as a Deputy Commandant of Information, I mean, your leadership is also sustained, true to the game, and thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And it's awesome to look out in the audience and see so many friends and family. And I would tell you, typically we have these type of sessions and we get a lot of technical folks in the audience. And I'm honored to look to my left here and see one of my good friends as a warfighter, Lieutenant General Cal Worth, who is the commanding general of 2MEF, to make sure that we're having the right conversation at the right time. Really balances it all out. As I said, as I get started in the seat, I only took the seat about 1 August, I'm pleasantly surprised that I got the call from the Commandant to be the Deputy Commandant Information. Relatively new position as I get settled in, about 16 under General Miller's watch, but certainly moved out after 17. But the newest of all the Deputy Commandants, and as many of you may know, I have the Intel portfolio, the C4, electronic warfare, cyber, and I'm the Title 10 Man, Train, and Equip, also the resource sponsor as well. And so the things that I think about on a daily basis are right in line with the Commandant's vision for force design. As we started out on General Berger's watch and now under General Smith, it is about force design first 2030, but now General Smith tells us that it's just force design. His point is we are in the execution phase of force design now. It's no longer a concept. We're bringing his reality or his vision to reality. And with that, he published his planning guidance, not only to the force, but to each of the deputy commandants. My guidance from General Berger was about 6 pages long, and I'll summarize it. He said, move faster. That's exactly right. And so the things that we think about in my portfolio day to day is about how do you really sense and make sense of the operating environment, and the stand-up of the Deputy Commandant, the imperative to change, as my good friend KT talked about, it is an operational imperative. We have to think about this new operating environment. It is changing at the speed of heat, and we have to really get our arms around it. And so my job is bringing the capabilities to deliver to the war fighters. And so a couple things I'd leave you with in terms of priorities. First and foremost, as many of my colleagues have already highlighted, it is about the people. It is, do we have the right people that not only understand this environment, but the technical expertise to really get after the things that we require for this zero trust environment to build capability development and things of that nature. And not only do you have to get them on board, but how do you recruit and sustain that workforce? And I'm not just talking about our brilliant military folks. Yes, that is a challenge, and we're working really hard on it. We have to think differently about how we do that, but it's also our civilian workforce. And again, I can't thank you all enough, because in my business, in our business, in uniform, I mean, the Marine Corps is really about fighting and winning wars. That's what you want us to do. And the things that we can't do, we have to reach out to industry, and we need your partnership to really get after some of those challenges. So I spent a lot of time thinking about the people that we have in our formation, the people that are supporting our efforts, and that's where I would need your help. The other part that I spend quite a bit of time on is delivering those lethal capabilities to warfighters. That is an operational imperative. We've heard that many times in overall remarks and our comments. 2027, yes, we understand that, but like I said, the Commandant's charge to me is move faster. We understand the challenge of our acquisition process and things of that nature, and again, we have to rely on our industry partners to help us get there. And that's where this secure infrastructure and the cybersecurity environment is absolutely critical. It's not enough that we build a resilient network, not only for garrison, but for high-end warfighting as well. And it's incumbent that we leverage the capabilities that are in our industry partners to really get there. And as we think about security and zero trust and things of that nature, we have to share some of those capabilities and insight with our partners as well. And it's incumbent upon us that they are also secure as well. And then as we move out, again, partnership on a different level, and that is our coalition partners. We have to build those reliable, resilient networks that support our coalition partners as well. And so as we all think in this audience about the Dawn IT and the infrastructure, the warfighting network, not only in competition but in high-end conflict, I would just tell you, I can't thank you enough for all the things, the discussions that we're going to have this week, but more importantly, for the development of those high-end capabilities that we need to fight and win in competition as well as conflict. So for all of you, thanks for everything that you're going to do this week. I look forward to partnering with you, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. So with that, Ms. Rathman, I'll turn it back to you.